it's still raining. That's cheaper on here than it was at the Harvester. Fort Way.
Yeah, there you go. Good day.
Now we can either go down there.
We're going to have a wander around there.
If you see anything you like, I can wait every night to I normally use the marker line.
Oh,
Actually, perhaps what we ought to do is start about 10 o'clock in the morning, or 9:30, go for a breakfast at one place, then go to the next place for breakfast, then go to the next one, then start all over again for our lunch. So we could eat all day. It's on the right at Watson. Very
haven't looked for our picture.
Some drinks there with
too good a view to miss, isn't it?
never worn a makeup. She says, I can't wear them with my glasses. I says, what about the bloody rubbish? So she says, no, she can't, she just doesn't want to, but she can lip read. So when she's talking to anybody, or you're, and then we started getting different things that we could claim for. So I put it all in the bank and we paid for a funeral, which his sister didn't know about and things like that. But it was to get rid of her. And I mean, she didn't have a lot, but what she did have, I didn't think get around with the kids. Do you know that I went to
But you're staying here. You can't use that on here.
When you go on the webcam is where the flats are, and it looks back out this way. So it'll be off on that side, Balmoral, just there. Because I've seen Balmoral in here before. It'll be on that side, and you walk to your town somewhere there, and you walk around all this together.
There he goes. Yeah.
You don't realise how high you until you start getting to land as well.
Yeah.
How far down it is. There's his first rope over.
Start at the bottom and work up to the I'm going to go here now. Do you want a biscuit?
For a biscuit?
And here you find souvenir shops and restaurants and the railway and the boats and things like that. There's also the part where the locals hide from all the mayhem down here by the pier. So they have their own village, and we're going to see that village when we come back by train. Then we will pass it. And altogether Flom has around 450 inhabitants. And this number grows to around 800 in the summer months, because there's so many seasonal workers that come here and that stay here for a few months during the season between May and September usually. It's very important to have seasonal workers around here because we have such a small community that it's just not possible to fill all the jobs with locals. So we need them, and we also need them because of their language skills. And Flom has a very, very international range of visitors, also by comparison to other places in Norway. And so people to stay here all year round. So it is growing at the moment, and it's especially extending in the shoulder seasons. Our regular season is between the middle of May and the middle of September. That's also when most of the cruise ships come. But we also had our first cruise ship in the beginning of March, and our last cruise ship will arrive on the 9th of December this year, on the 4th side. And this means that Flom is a very sheltered place. We don't really have much bad weather, and very often when we hear that there has been a storm on the coast, we wonder where that storm has gone because we don't notice anything of it here. It's usually very calm here, and we do get a lot of rain, but we don't get a lot of bad weather otherwise. Most of the shops in the area, 2 supermarkets, and we also have the church. The school is not far away from here, the central bus stop is here, and most of the life is focused around this little center of Ireland. And on the left side you can see the Church of Ireland, which dates back to 1202, and it is a church which is built in what is known in this area as the English Gothic style. And the reason why it's known as the English Gothic style is that Norwegian churches are not normally built out of stone, they're built out of wood, or they were built in the Middle Ages, and only places where you had English or British influence where we experience what most of inland Norway looks like. It's mostly because it's quite wild romantic. You have wild strawberries and raspberries and rhubarb and things like that. But it's also because Norwegians don't really like to talk to each other when they're sober. And I'm not saying that they're drunk when they're hiking, but when you meet Norwegians up in the mountains, they get a lot more chatty and a lot more sociable, and it's very, very easy to meet people when you go hiking. Suddenly people who would never have talked to you at all suddenly start talking to you, and so it's very easy to get into contact with people. And that's why it's also very easy to meet new people and meet potential partners. Else on it, and then he has to sneak up behind her and he has to throw the knife over her, and if he manages that without her noticing, then she will become a human girl. The other thing that he can do is he has to trick her, and he has to get her there. She will lose her tail and then become a normal human girl as well. And then that we've just driven up, also part of the old road that was there before most of the tunnels were constructed. other European households, and only the people in Iceland use even more electricity than we do. And there are a few reasons behind that. It has a lot to do with the general idea that since it is clean power, you can use more of it. You don't really. So we have now left most of civilization behind us, and we won't get to any towns that are populated all year round until we get down on the other side again. So we will now drive onto a mountain plateau, and this mountain plateau sort of stretches almost across all of inland Norway. So all of inland Norway is high up in the mountains but fairly flat then, and you can see the elevation or the difference between our road and the mountains is getting less. So you have plateau areas here, and that's where also people go skiing. On Saturdays wasn't just a practical event, it was a social event as well. You could visit the wife, or you could meet somebody if you were unmarried. And so they had a dance there on Saturday. And this was very important to meet future spouses, because otherwise for 5 months a year all the women were up in the mountains and all the men were down in the valleys, and they wouldn't really see each other. So it was quite common to send your daughters, when they approached marriage age, you send them to relatives up on the mountain farms. You were hoping that they would meet somebody there a little bit further away. And this was a good way to work against inbreeding, to make sure that they got around a little bit. And for the young people, it was quite handy to meet somebody there, because it was more important that you had somebody you could work together with and you could run a farm with. And so you could see how that person was as a worker and not just as a lover or a partner. People believe to warn the trolls, and then when you came to the house you had to knock on the door, and then you went away again for about half an hour so that the trolls had enough time to pack their stuff and to disappear, and then you could return to the house and stay there for the rest of the summer and were undisturbed. There are only very few traditional summer farms left. Some places are still being kept. I think some people use it as an excuse to stay away from their partners for a few months as well. So you have a few places where the women still live on the summer farms in the summertime, but most of the farmhouses are now being used as holiday homes, and the pasture around are then just used by sheep who just roam around fairly freely. You can see that summer comes fairly late up in the mountains, but when it comes in full power. So the amount of snow here is fairly normal. It's about what we have most of the years. This winter we had a fair amount of snowfall, so it takes some time for it to melt. And what you can see around us now is the so-called zebra snow, for fairly obvious reasons, I think. But most of this will melt within the next few weeks, depending a little bit on the weather. But by the end of the summer, the snow is usually gone. And you can see how green it is around the snowfield. So once the snow is gone, it's very, very fast until it's green and everything is sprouting everywhere. Paint tea on them and use them as signposts. Now they have become immensely popular with everyone who's traveling around. Everybody likes to build little piles of rocks, and so in some places when you get to them, a lot of people wonder what's the whole deal with them. But around here before, they were only used as signposts, and the reason for that is that when the snow is melting, it melts faster on these little piles of rocks, so that they stick out of the snow even if there's no all around them, and so it's very easy to find them. They also mark skiing trails in the winter time, so a lot of cabins can be also used by skiers, and they mark them with usually bamboo sticks or something like that they stick in the ground, and you can just follow them then to the nearest cabin. The place where you find them on warm sunny days is on the patches of snow, and they lie down on the patches of snow to cool down. There's also a hunting season for the reindeer, and every year the government sets a quota of how many animals can get shot, and then every landowner gets part of that quota, and the state as a landowner has some shares of it as well, and you can either sell your share of the quota or you can use it yourself. So you can either go off shooting yourself, or if you don't want to, you can sell it, and that's quite a nice income source if you're a farmer and a big landowner up in the mountains. And they look a lot like hamsters, about the same size, and at least the Norwegian lemming has almost the same colors as a gold hamster as well. And you don't normally see much of them. Most of the years they are fairly invisible up in the mountains, but every few years, we don't really know when, but every now and then there's a lemming year, and then the population just explodes, and a single couple of lemmings can produce up to 800 offspring in a single summer. So there are immense amounts of lemmings everywhere, and they're fairly hungry little creatures, so they eat everything that they find, and they especially love the leaves of the dwarf willow, which is why it grows these bitter leaves afterwards, because that's its protection against lemmings. When we have such a lemming year, we also have other visitors. The snow owl, which doesn't really live in this area, normally comes down from the north of Norway to visit this area just to see all or feed on the lemmings, I suppose, rather than to see them. And you know what happened there, and it's very hard to predict these things. So the farmers used it on houses that should be representative, which means on their farmhouse. And so they could show their neighbours how wealthy and important they were. If they weren't quite as wealthy and important as they would have liked to be, they just painted the front of the house in white and just pretended. The other houses were painted in red, and that was a lot cheaper. So all the stables and barns and sheds and things like that were painted in the red colour. But now it's gotten more and more popular to use bright colours for the houses, just because it looks nicer in the winter time. Yes, we reached our next stop, and we reached one of probably the most interesting buildings, wooden buildings that we have.
It's a bit drafty, isn't it? Remember, next time I come, bring a scarf.
No.
Very impressive actually because he remembers writing and not many people do. And he said this, we got on the country,
By an American. So it was built by some both to give them a church and to show off a little bit. And now we are in the Hallingdal Valley itself, driving to Geilo, and Geilo to this school. It's an official high school, so you can get normal classes and you get a final high school diploma that allows you to move on to university, but you get extra training and you can do a lot of skiing in the winter time, you do a lot of other training, and you also learn a lot about sports facts and things like that. So a lot of people fighting in the summertime. Usually they have sheep grazing on them as well to keep the grass away and keep the trees away so that they don't have to fight the trees all the time. And here on the right hand side you already have the train tracks. So this is where we will be travelling on once we start our train journey.
I wouldn't mind these.
See, look, we've been growing wild here.
That doesn't look much like the sort of line express train does.
See, look at the blueberries, wild.
See, I don't know what you can make quite so early because I don't know what you're going to do. Well, those two people right down there in front, she's got a pink jacket on. They're off of our coach.
And what is it? My goggles.
It is such a shame. I'm sure she's very good looking and such, so sensitive.
This
the traces of that. It was a big fire that came because they were working not really prepared for it. That set off a discussion about what we have to do and how we have to do it.
Vi kjører inn til Ustadhuset. We are now approaching Ustadhuset.
So here we have, we're still following a road.
Next stop is Copenhagen.
And they like to see that. You share on, if you're on Facebook or you meet someone, you like to share how cool it is in your face. I'm sure they only built the station there because they love the number. Because it's the highest point on our tour as well. And there we will be able to see a glacier on this site called the Hardangervidda Glacier. And it's the 5th largest glacier in Norway. And well, it basically is just a bit of round snow. So, but we'll point it out when we get there. So now we're driving uphill. Now we will leave the road. There was a road going parallel to us that is now going further out, and we are crossing the mountain plateau on our own. And this mountain plateau that we're crossing is the Hardangervidda mountain plateau, which is the largest mountain plateau in Northern Europe. It's also a national park, so there are no roads otherwise, and nobody lives there permanently, but you have quite a lot of holiday homes, especially on the edges. Our bus on this one. Well, the train is fairly cheap if you're lucky, because they set out a contingency of tickets. So the first ticket to get costs 199 kroner, and that gets, you don't get that unfortunately. So it's very, if you get those cheap tickets, it's very cheap to go. If the 1890 something, they always complain that Norway is expensive, so even by then it was. I'm not sure why. I got a special connection to St. Peter's. I had this one day, I had this tour, and it was horrible weather. It was absolutely disgusting weather. It was just pouring down rain and no view whatsoever. And we got to the stop, and it's a stop by a waterfall. And I thought, okay, we had 20 minutes or so to stop. How on earth are we going to have a 20-minute stop here? It's weather like that. So I said to the guests, now I'm going to phone St. Peter and order good weather. When we got there, the sky just opened and it was blue sky, no rain, sunshine. It was absolutely fantastic. And so they got workers from Sweden in to help out building this, and they had to build a 3-day trip cycling and then cycling down to Flom. And it's just, the season is just starting, so in Finland there's still a little bit too much snow, and it's now sort of the time when it's getting ready and starting to cycle, but the main time is August and September. February, March. But it depends a lot on the solar activity next year. Let's say it's fiction based on a true story. It's Nobody's ever watched it from here. It's very strange actually. So that's why I was hoping to take it when they asked me about it. You haven't heard of it. It was also fairly irrelevant. That's the point of being here. They're right along the coast mostly. The coast is interesting. Yeah, because you got the ice free. Nice people.
People are obviously asking about materials and telling about where was it.
So that was
kind of the same. It's sort of a domestic feeling.
So Norway itself wasn't that relevant as a country. Was that it was, of course, the ideology that Norwegians are sort of the ideal people. So that years ago we weren't accessible before. And I found out that the British ambassador had just been out, literally just been out of the door when the Germans arrived. And he had been out of the door, he had been in there to tell the King and the Prime Minister that the Brits were about to, were on their way to take over the coast of Norway. It could have gone very different a few days from me. It's quite interesting how what could have been a few days. Yeah.
Because it looks nice and snowy, doesn't it?
Sea level. And on your left hand side you also can see the glacier Hardangerjökull at altitude 1867.
That's right.
Do you want to lean over here?
No, not really. I think
Let's do it here. Thank you very much.
Full of bikers at the moment, that's all that's around here.
to stay in a guest house.
Oh, wait, inside. Hot. Snow. Haven't seen that since Switzerland.
Vi ankommer Hallingskeid om 5 til 6 minutter. We will arrive at Hallingskeid in about 5 to...
Oh, yes.
It shows where we are on the map up there.
Through the ages, many people claim to have seen strange sights and creatures of legend in the Flod Valley. Among them, you find Hulbre. Stunningly beautiful Hulbre may tempt you with the spellbinding.
Yes. Yes, yeah.
We were horrified when we found it.
And on the other side, you can also see a hydropower station. So they produce the energy needed for the train here by the waterfall.
Get that back here.
It's the biggest waterfall I've ever seen, I think. Really wish I could get back on the train quick.
I'm not getting up.
Well, because the water can't go anywhere. There's rock underneath.
Oh, where's it?
So, it's all the snow, rain,
Excuse me. Fabulous.
Did you enjoy that? Yes, did you get spread?
I did, yes, sorry, Rob.
Oh, yes. Oh.
There's something, yes, there's a noise out there.
That's what you've got to beware of. They were telling us, the guide was telling us, wasn't she, on the coach? No, I'm not sure she told us on the coach about it, I think she did. She said, it's one of the trolls, and what is it? That she steals the young men away.
Oh yes, I did hear her say.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It's too long doing it.
Oh, you can hear them now. She's going on. After the tourist attraction. She's doing them anyway. What does she do to the girls? Can you remember?
Certainly not a troll.
What does she say when she applies for another job and they say, what was your last
I've seen that man before, because he's married to a Welsh lady.
And when the lake is frozen, the water can't come out, and then it's gone. And it's a bit more because they took that power station into practice 2 years ago, and since then they take away more water from the waterfall. So in summer it doesn't make a difference, but in spring you notice. Well, this place here, Balmoral, is unique in Norway because it's the only place in Norway where you still have to change the tracks and on the stuff manually. It's illegal, then you have to turn over. There's one of the there's no space for it. And there's always a train going out first, waiting for the train coming down. And from here we're also getting back to civilization. So from here onwards,
Just keep it going. See why I needed to tip, because there's nothing coming up the other way. It's been past the train.
we're crossing the river
I just make it in one
That's 220. And you want to get some stuff to me on it? Yeah. Well, I said unless we see anything we want. Oh, you said 50? I have to use my card. Yeah.
When the first cars came to Norway, it became evident that roads had to be built, and a new way of living came into being. Light fell out. Everything got black. Only the terrible creaking in the walls was to be heard. The priest, feeling a certain responsibility for his congregation, shouted out at top of his voice, "Out immediately! The church is going to fall down." And according to reliable sources, the priest was the first one out. But the church didn't fall down. But in order to be sure, these wires were attached to the tower and bolted in the ground. Olderheim is the name of the village hall. Here the inhabitants assemble on festive occasions. On the left-hand side of the village hall, a huge waterfall is coming dancing downwards from a setter. A setter is a place where the farmer used to have his cows during the summer. When the barn was empty and the farmer had no taken up to the setter, where they could find the best grass available. Every evening, the farmer's wife had to walk up to the setter and get the cows into the cow stable where they got milked. The next morning, she had to do just the same work and carry the milk in a container on her back down to the farm.
Sorry. Oh, that's okay. Carol doing what she does best.
Passed by two moraines. Western Norway has been created by 40 eruptive periods begin melting, this moraine would be on the spot where the glacier stopped. But the glacier would geological history of Western Norway. We are going to cross this moraine, and the train will go slowly across the river bridge so that you may have an opportunity to take a picture of the oldest bridge in this district, built in 1860. But do not leave the river. In spring, when the ice melting begins, there are sometimes inundations. There was no electric current available, and motive power provided by nature itself was taken into use.
No, my dear, wait till the top is lined
Small, some of them. Small, some of them.
Yes,
Oh, look at
Don't see any people around the houses, do you?
Got a gazebo.
Welcome sightseeing. Hope you have been enjoying the round trip in the train today. And if you come back another time, we will be happy to have you as passengers once again. And we thank you for the trip. In the meanwhile, have a good time.
Yeah, that's what it was. Get down the Olsen.
It's not a disco.
We played 13. And 13 and 20. I played 8 of them.
Did you see it? Hannah said it's warm at home, but cloudy.
Front of us.
thought.
Goes again, mate.
She's pathetically thin, isn't she?
When he comes to a full stop, you know he's at us.
You know, he probably sort of sideways. I expect that's what it is. It's a pilot getting on, I expect. There's somebody there taking photographs of. Well, I reckon you must have gone right underneath us. Everybody's getting up to
Come on, go do the dance and get have you?
Yeah, maybe also. And you?
Yeah.
Wow. Let's go, Southampton. Yes.
You don't want to follow you anymore.
Bangin! Woo! Access! Yeah, come on! Let's go, Southampton!
Going the right way, George? You sure?
Yeah. Not this time as well.
He's on the front rail. He's on.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's like this, though. Whatever it
Number 6. I was the Chancellor of West Germany from 1969 to 1974. Number 9. Number 5. I was a British-born entertainer and died in 2003 at the age of 150. Number 2. I am known for my large business in London, but I also own the Ritz in Paris. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there we have it. Number 13, I just wanted to have fun. It was born in 1950.
Well, I read that thing this morning that said, oh, I didn't come in bloody 10, was it?
Yeah.